Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be repotting my Burle Marx Flames. I know what you're thinking. I look like a Burle Marx Flame hoarder, but let me explain. This has been one of my long time wish list plants. They were so hard to find and they were very expensive back in the day, during my OG collecting time. But recently they have been sold in my local, let me make sure, Lowe's. And I ended up getting, well, it took me a long time to find them in my local area. So when I finally did find it, I got one for me and one for my daughter. But I didn't end up giving her hers for whatever reason. So I ended up having them and potting them up together. And I repotted it into pond and took it out of the soil that it was in. And then later on, and then I found these two, and as you can see, they're very juvenile. They don't have any fenestration, so it's going to take a while for them to get any fenestration. And then I was at Lowe's again, plant shopping, as I do on the weekends. Don't judge me, okay? But then I found these other two. Can you see that one? And as you can see, they both have started fenestrating already. So I got another one for myself and I got another one for my daughter. So today we're going to be removing them out of this, whatever this is that they came in. I don't even know what this is. It looks like cocoa coir or something like that. So we're going to transfer this out of the substrate that it's in into pond, and then I'm going to combine mine with the two that are already in this pot and already in pond, because I don't want to create another pot for this plant. I would like for it to grow up as a full plant and in one pot, just to make my life simpler when it comes to watering. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is take both of them out of this substrate, and then we'll go from there. So they're both in a self-watering pot, which is great that they've started doing that, putting them in those types of pots. So that's awesome, and I will keep those pots and use them for another plant, I'm sure, because I am in the process of, well, this is really in there, and I can see gnats flying out of this soil right now. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Hang on. Let me go get my spray. Okay. I'm back. Got my sexy plant juice. The roots look really good on this. So let me just go ahead and break the soil loose. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just ran up and down 4 flights of stairs. So let me just catch my breath while I'm trying to get some of this soil off of here. And just in case, let me spray this one down before they start coming out of this pot as well. Okay. So I'm in the process of moving as many plants from soil into pond as I possibly can. Some of the plants won't like it, and what I've noticed is since I've put this one in pond, it has a lot of guttation from its leaves, but and if you don't know what guttation is, it's just when plants take in more water than they need and they just have water droplets hanging off the ends of their plants. Of their leaves, but it doesn't hurt them in any way. So I'm not too worried about that. I'd rather them have enough water because I'm terrible with watering. I either overwater it or underwater it, and it's a whole big thing. And the reason that I'm moving them from soil to pond is because of those darn gnats. I'm so sick of those things. I have catchies all over my house. I treat my plants whenever I bring them home. I use mosquito bits in the water when I'm watering, and they are just very persistent. It doesn't help that I'm in Home Depot or Lowe's looking for plants almost every weekend. And so it's inevitable that I'm going to miss something. And the longer I leave them in the soil that they come with from those stores, the more gnats I'm introducing to my home, I guess. So getting them, the majority of them, out of soil, I think will be better. Not 100% of my plants will be in pond. I know that because some of them do not do well in pond. Okay, I've gotten as much off as I can with my fingers, so I'm just going to finish getting the soil off of the second one. Set this one to the side. Okay, I've sprayed the top of this one, so hopefully they won't come flying out like they did in the last one. And I'm curious to know how many of you have your plants in pond or a semi-hydro setup. I actually use pond and leca. It just depends on what I have on hand at any given time when I'm bringing something home and I need to repot it. Like my Anthurium Dog Block Michelle, the big one is in leca. I have a smaller one in leca and I have a smaller one in pond. Just trying to see which medium it likes better, because my big one that's sitting up here on the floor, it's in pond and it's giving me all the new leaves. and they're pretty big, so I'm really happy with the growth of that one. And I'm going to keep it there. So both of the roots look really healthy. I don't think I have to trim any of them off. So now I'm just going to take them outside on my balcony, and I'm going to wash as much of this soil off of them as I can and get rid of this soil. And I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and I have went ahead and cleaned off the roots as good as I could for both plants. And I sprayed down their stems and their leaves while I was out there. So we are good to go. So I'm going to lay one to the side for me. And then I'm going to go ahead and pot up my daughters in this little self-watering pot, because I feel like this color will match with her aesthetic. And as you can see, the holes are pretty big at the bottom of this container. So I'm going to just put a little layer of leca that I also just cleaned off. In the bottom, just so the pon won't fall through. Let me put a layer of pon in there too before I put the plant in there. Alright, that should be good. And then I'm just going to spread out the roots as well as I can, so that they can all be good to go. And the reason that I am repotting this for my daughter and not her doing it herself is because she is afraid of bugs. So the fact that this thing had gnats, she was not okay with that. So I like that we share that our love for plants in common, so I don't mind helping her out with stuff like this, because she's another one that will go plant shopping with me, and it's a really good mommy-daughter experience, and I really enjoy hanging out with her. I just remember them being kids and playing games like soccer and cheer, and my husband and I were always on the sidelines cheering them on. And now we don't have that anymore. So it's nice, especially now that she is no longer living with us. So that's something that we can do together and enjoy together. It's okay. So this one's ready for her. I will go ahead and I did clean this pond already, as well as the leca, but because it's the first time that the plant is going to be in this type of medium, I'm going to go ahead and run water through the top just to rinse the pond one more time, and then I'll put water in this, fill it up to the top of this reservoir, and then she'll be good to go. No more gnats, and she'll know when it needs to be watered. Just set that one to the side. Okay, so this one is already in pond. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take it out of here because I want to add this one, if I can, to the middle, because these two are already hogging the edges of this pole. And as you can see, this leaf is the newest leaf, and it's turned the opposite direction because I have it sitting out there in my little overflow area, and it has the back of this facing the sun. I don't know why I did that, because I would really like for all of the leaves to be facing this way. So when I put it back over there, I'm going to make sure that I place it the correct way so that all of the leaves can be facing the sun. So let me get this out of here. Oh my. I haven't even had this in here for a month. What in the world? Oh, there's no more water in there. Okay. Wow, look at these roots. Let me see if I have a bigger pot to put this in, because there may not be enough room in here for all these roots. Look at this. This is crazy. I'll be right back. I'm back. I found this pot. It's also a self-watering pot, and it has the little gauge in there to where, because there's no little window or anything for me to see through and tell when it needs more water, this little gauge is there so that this little water indicator is there, so I'll know when this plant needs to be watered. So glad I had that. Glad I have already washed off this leca. Just going to put a little bit in the bottom so that it won't, so that the pond won't fall through the bottom. All right. Now let me get this one out of here. Try and pour some of it in here. Oh no, I'm making such a mess. Okay, I didn't lose too many leaves. Some of them stayed on the bottom, but for the most part, they're intact. Look at that. Okay. Well, it doesn't look like that I'm going to be able to put that one in the middle, so I'm just going to stick it in here as best I can, right next to this one. Oh, and I can't even move it over because it's already rooted itself into the pole. So that's good. But I'm just gonna add it to the side here. Just want to make sure I'm getting it as close to this pole as possible. And See that it already has an aerial root. I'm trying to feed that down into the moss bowl. There we go. Like a glove. Okay. Wow, it's really full now. Hopefully it's not too full, but it's on there. Oh. I don't want that root, that aerial root to break. So I'm just trying to poke a hole in there in that moss because it's really dry. There. I was going to put this in the back, but I think I'm going to leave it in the front. No, I'm going to put it in the back because this will be facing the window and I will be able to see when it needs to be watered. Just trying to make sure all of the leaves are in here far enough where I can cover them with the pon. Okay. I think we're good. Let me just secure this with a piece of Velcro tape. Just trying to secure it before I start putting the pon in there so I can have both hands free and it won't go anywhere. There we go. So now just put the pon back in there and we're all set. I really like the way that this pon looks. It's so pretty. The Lechuza pon seems to be the better choice. And I do have some on hand, but I'm not going to replace all of this pon that I already had it in with that Lechuza pon just because Lechuza pon is expensive. I already know that this one likes being in this pon. And so I'm not going to change it. tapping it so I can settle that pond in there. And working with pond as opposed to soil is so much simpler and faster and easier. It made this repot go so much faster. Okay, that's what we have now. They both have their new homes now. And I think that they turned out great. And that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you next time.